Good. Super excited, sold out show, Raconteurs tonight. Jack White, Brendan Benson here, taking the time to hang out with us, which we really appreciate. 2019, did you think the Raconteurs would be putting out a new album when you first started? Did you think that you'd be putting out an album in 2019 and touring?
No idea.
No.
Probably no. I would probably have voted no. When did we get together? 2004?
Yeah.
That's when we started? So yeah,
I couldn't even conceive of 2019. I mean, the date.
There's been a space in between there, obviously, so, and you've both been creating, you've had creative projects, so what were the characteristics of songs that would come up that you would say, this needs to be a Raconteurs song?
That's always the hardest part, to sort of sit down and try to write something like that. It either just has to come out while we're together, me and him, and then flush it out with the band, or just every once in a while, just sort of some song you're looking at just kind of says, this feels like a Raconteurs song. This song on this album called "Shine the Light on Me" was one of those. It felt like we really wanted to be a Raconteurs thing. So we kind of think that song sort of started the album and the soul tour going. It might have came from that, but we can't remember specifically.
I mean, did you feel like when you were about to put out a new album, because you've done other things, do you feel like Raconteurs fans or fans of either of you want to put the Raconteurs in a sound box? So like, this is Raconteurs, this is this, this is this. So did you maybe feel like that when you were going into the album, that you had to stick with a certain thing?
No, I didn't. If anything, I thought maybe we needed to push that envelope, like if we're starting to be typecast, or people are saying this is a Raconteur, then that's time, I think, to shake things up, But even then, I don't think we, as a band, like, thought about it too much, like, it's weird. I think there's a lot that goes unspoken in a studio, which makes not for a greater interview or a good, like, maybe a good, you could never make a show out of it, I don't think, but it's kind of boring, it's kind of like uneventful, I mean, and then there's this magic, of course, but there's not like a discussion.
Yeah, these magical moments, and then there's work, and then something magical happens, and work. It's kind of strange, it's funny, but I mean, at the same time, you might be in a different kind of job, like digging a ditch or something, where there's never any magic. Right. Or very rarely.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Jack, you've done vocals on your own for different projects, and now you have a band where Brendan is
real
also.
No.
Yeah. I mean, how is that for you to share that? Do you feel comforted in that, or is it weird for you because you're usually the one that has?
It's really, really nice. It's nice, first of all, to be with someone that you respect and you like his talent, and then it's also nice to share the load of it.
Yeah.
It's rare to have a band with two front men. It doesn't really happen too much, especially nowadays. So it's that's really nice. It's sort of I know I'm in good hands, kind of a thing. And when you're a solo artist, you have to have hired guns. You're hiring people to play with you. It's not like a band. Like you got together in a garage and started a band. So
you're lucky to find another guitar player who also sings and whose voice you like. I mean, I think that's not. I mean, that's tough.
That is tough.
You really had it good.
It got really good. It's great.
No, but it's also like an endurance thing. You can sing a lot longer. When there's two singers, it's it's cool. You can play longer.
Yeah.
Let's take a breath.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word garage, and I've really been wanting to ask you this because geography comes into play with your band. Detroit, Nashville. The things that garage bands used to be when you use the term garage band, now it has maybe a little bit different meaning sometimes. Do you feel like it's become more suburban?
It's funny you said that because I'm trying to think of now a modern band, and I immediately thought of 21 Pilots video where they're showing them playing in a living room together, and which is it also reminded me sort of full circle what you're talking about is that all the bands in Detroit, we called ourselves garage rock bands, and that's kind of what we thought them. If we had to name the movie, it was sort of garage rock, but really it was attic rock because everybody played in an attic in Detroit. I mean, Detroit's a rare town where everyone sort of has a third floor that's kind of perfect for. Basement's usually kind of murky and moldy, so we usually play in the attic. We recorded the first Raconteurs album in Brendan's attic, actually. So.
Oh yeah, like that's a Buffalo thing too. A lot of people feel like
the
attic,
Midwest,
nice summer climate,
climate,
You guys obviously friends. How do you keep? I mean, we
Debatable.
right? I mean, you seem like you are today in this moment.
now.
You're friends. How do you guys just remind yourselves to have fun together?
Peeking over the.
I was
So
I thought she sewed that. I was telling her. I don't know if you heard me.
no, yeah. So before I came here, my friend's like, "You gotta not wear that shirt under there. You gotta
It's
cut something."
It's hilarious.
It's great.
Yeah,
That's
and I'm
great.
like, I'm not like a girly dress or thing, so I'm like, I'm
No,
putting a
that's
t-shirt
great.
under it.
That's great, right.
Now you're just like, what is happening?
We interrupted you though.
No, you're fine. I'm happy that you noticed because we cut this and so Help a Stranger recorded in Nashville. I just want to make sure I'm
Yes,
right
at
on
my studio in Nashville.
Yes. Does the album confirm or deny Nashville stereotypes?
It's kind of
What is the stereotype? Sort of
like a
country. What is the
There's
stereotype?
a lot of them now,
There
I
are.
mean, because it's changed,
We've got quite a brand of hipster too in Nashville.
Yeah.
It's specific because it's Detroit was very cynical town where we came from that didn't have that sort of country and professional music side of the town.
No ambition, no desire to go beyond the attic.
Where everyone in Nashville has a lot of ambition to be a huge country star, write #1 songs and stuff, which is great. It's interesting to see that side of things because it gives you perspective on, what you're doing. You don't even realize that a lot of artists do. Like I say, one doesn't realize that you're mixing art and business all the time, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think artists go years and don't realize they're doing that, whether they like it or not, and so it's
They've
kind of
always been a sellout.
Yeah, they just didn't realize it. So Nashville is a kind of a good place for that, where you can get some perspective and see what to do, what not to do, for us, a lot of up and coming artists and so. But as far as our recording of it, I really don't know. I mean, I would say there's one song that's got some fiddle on it, which sounds kind of Nashville thing, but mostly it just sounded like more of a Detroit sounding record if I had to label it.
Yeah. Do you feel more comfortable when you have like different musicians around and just being able to be a little bit more, I guess, anonymous when you have different genres and different people trying to make it? Did that come into play at all for you when you were there recording?
Like being one part of. Well, the industry being there helps. If you're making a living doing this, then it's hard to move somewhere so remote. So Nashville still has all the resources, studios and musicians, and so the industry's still there. So it's. But I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
Well, I mean, I just talking about being around other musicians, and so that's.
It does because you're. Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the people we work with through Third Man Records projects that I've produced, and he has studio and he's produced a lot of tracks and bands over the years, and since we've been living there in Nashville, and you meet a lot of people, you meet a lot of guys. If you say, "Oh, we want someone to do an organ solo on this," is, "Oh, I know, we can call so and so, call Lily Mae if we need this fiddle part on this song," and.
We didn't call Lily Mae to say, because we wanted necessarily a country, so we didn't have a country song for her. We didn't have a country song for her. We just wanted, Lily Mae.
Yeah.
Can I do 2 more questions?
Sure. 2 more.
They're going to be similar. It'll be
Who wears the
super
pants
easy.
in this relationship?
I guess she
I didn't
was.
mean to put you. I don't have pants
Neither
on.
of us.
That sounded really bad. They did a good. We were having such a good conversation.
Yeah.
That's a job. That's a job. Buzzkill. Wow. Just kidding.
Okay, so you've explained the meaning more sonically on the album of Help Me Stranger.
Yeah.
Who wants to explain the lyrical meaning behind this song?
Well, he came up with that line, so in the song.
But I don't want to explain it because it gives away everything.
He wants people to think about it on their own.
But I will say this:
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it sounded nice at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you put out. Okay, so I'm gonna not talk about every song in the album because I have one more question. I really want to ask this. So, I bought the Raconteurs album as part of the Third Man Vault thing.
Oh,
I spent $60.
nice.
Well spent. I listened to it on $100 cheap turntable. Are we doing this wrong? Because you've got
Doing it
those
right.
decorative.
Doing it right.
Just because you what?
Because
do you mean?
I mean, we spend all this money on quality vinyl, right?
Oh, yeah,
So like
then you
this
just have,
new
like-
generation of vinyl people, right?
Yeah.
But then you're listening to it on like a throwaway, cool,
Yeah.
like
I would
red.
recommend you go to if you're a true vinyl fan, or have starting a record collection, you go spend a little bit of money, not a ton, but just get something decent.
The good thing is now there's so many choices now.
Yeah.
10
You
years
can go-
ago there wasn't. It was either $100 table or a $5,000
Yeah.
one.
Right.
So now there's so many cool choices, and
Or
I think
Craigslist or
you're not gonna ruin your record really unless you gouge it in there. It should be okay.
Maybe you're
that's what
not
you
getting
were
the
wondering
proper
if-
sound. It's just ironic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
I think that's what's cool about it. Is like even if you you're sitting in a room like this and you have a little children's Fisher Price turntable or something, and you play it, it has its own character to it.
Yeah.
Where digital sounds the same, most likely everywhere you go, depending on the sound system, but the source. So it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. The source will kind of give you something a little bit different every time.
Yeah. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
I just thought about it one
No
day.
sins committed.
I'm like, wait a minute. I need to upgrade this. I'm probably not doing this right here. So, well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it. Sold out show tonight. We appreciate you taking the time to do the interview.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
very much.
All right.